Welcome to MyCounselor.Online. I'm Cassie, and today joining me is September Trent, one of our awesome therapists, to talk about her article, Is This Postpartum Depression? Now, when you're a new mom, when you've just had a baby, there are so many new things going on, and it's hard to know if what you're experiencing emotionally is a case of the baby blues or true postpartum depression. September is going to give us the lowdown. So let's check it out. September, thanks for meeting with me today to talk about your article.
Yeah, no problem. I'm so excited to talk with you about this topic.
Yes, it's a big deal. It's so related to a lot of shame within women because we have this expectation that everything's kind of gonna be easy. We know in some facets that it's gonna be hard, and yet when it is hard, we just feel overwhelmed, like we don't know what to do about it. So, so much changes when you have a new baby, and a lot of that can just be related to normal things, the baby blues, so to speak. So what does that look like? Just normal changes.
Yeah, definitely. You will see some feelings of being overwhelmed, and that you have added responsibilities, especially if it's your first child. You're just getting used to feeding, changing, only maybe sleeping a couple hours at a time. So there's definitely going to be those feelings of being overwhelmed. And too, if this is your second, third, fourth, fifth child, just getting used to what the new routine is with adding this member to your family. You also might see a little bit of anxiety, and that just with those added responsibilities. Now there's a level of, we don't want that to be interrupting your functioning, or where you're not able to take care of your child or your other family, then that becomes an issue. But also you might notice just some slight mood swings where maybe you're feeling really happy, but then you're just struggling a little bit. Might notice some changes in appetite or sleep. Now with like baby blues or kind of the some normal changes, we should see those go away within 3 to 5 days, after giving birth, after going home. If they last longer than that or longer than 2 weeks, then it's goes to the point where you need to talk with your doctor about just maybe having some struggles.
Okay. And so talk more about like what kind of things might be concerning, like what would push it over besides the timeline, just in the symptom area, what might push it over to maybe this is postpartum depression?
Yeah, definitely. So you'll see some sadness, some helplessness, also some feelings of worthlessness. You might also experience symptoms of just not feeling a connection to your baby, as well as maybe isolating yourself. Instead of wanting people to come to your house or wanting to show off your baby, you may just kind of stay inside and not really want to build those relationships that you used to have. You also might see some just like headaches, stomach pains, maybe some irritability, and that just small things set you off. There's also like crying spells, just crying and just not knowing why you're crying, or feeling like I want to stop but I can't. Extreme side is if you have thoughts of wanting to harm yourself or harm your baby. That's more extreme, and I think that's a little bit of where we get stigma with postpartum depression, because not all postpartum depression looks like that. But if you do experience those things, definitely go and talk to your doctor about it, because you just want to make sure that you get help for those symptoms. But especially with postpartum depression, if you're seeing that those symptoms are lasting more than 2 weeks, and people don't realize that postpartum depression can show up later in a sense of it can be a month after giving birth to up to a year, and people don't realize that, and they're not looking for it. So it's important to realize that timeline.
Yeah, that's pretty incredible.
Yeah,
I didn't know about that until I read your article. So that's really good information, because we might not naturally link those two together if it shows up so much later.
Yeah, definitely.
How treatable is postpartum depression?
It's very treatable. And the first step is, if you're noticing, in my article, I put, like, if you're noticing one symptom, to go talk with your doctor. And that doesn't mean that you have postpartum depression if you just experience one of these symptoms, but it's just so important to open up that conversation with your OBGYN, with your doctor, just because maybe you can catch it early, and not to be afraid of talking about it, because though they're trained professionals, they've seen this before. And so with postpartum depression, a few ways that they treat it. Usually if you go to your doctor, they will probably suggest or prescribe medication. That's kind of the first route that they go. And then along with that, they'll suggest therapy. And so doing medication and therapy, that's kind of the best way that you can treat postpartum depression. And just the length of time that need to do those things, it just depends on the person. And people see very good results after, following doctor's recommendation.
That's good news.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for this article, and thanks for meeting with me today to chat about it.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you.
That was such great information. I'm so glad that we're talking about this topic and that it's so treatable. You can read the rest of the article in its entirety on our website. Plus, our website has a slew of articles on all sorts of topics. You can find them at MyCounselor.Online.